We'll also be reviewing two eagerly awaited films from producer Steven Spielberg. The first is Poltergeist, a ghost story set in a modern suburban home, and E.T., the extraterrestrial, set in another suburban split level. This time not visited by a ghost, but by a little outer space creature.
Our next film is Steven Spielberg's new horror movie, Poltergeist, and the movie has some shockingly effective scenes, very violent and very slick, using the latest special effects technology. But it works best, I think, when it only suggests the terrible things that exist just beyond the boundaries of everyday life. Early in the film, for example, a little girl in a typical suburban home calmly announces to her parents that she's in touch with the television people. Well, who are the television people? Well, naturally, they're the people who live in the TV set when it's tuned to an empty channel.
What do you look like? Talk loud, I can't hear you. 5. Yes. Yes. I don't know. I don't know.
They're here, and they really are there, too. They cause a lot of trouble for this family. Later in the film, the family becomes completely dominated by evil spirits, which possess the house and kidnap that little girl and take her off through her bedroom closet into another dimension. The family calls in a professional psychic who tries to explain where the missing girl was taken to and why.
To her, it simply is another child. To us, it is the beast. Now let's go get your daughter.
So the mother enters another dimension to save her child.
I got it! No! No, let me!
You can't! Who's strong enough to stay up here and hold the rope?
I guess the idea is that the TV people or the spirits in possession of this house have occupied that closet and it's in the 4th dimension, so you can kind of go through it and come out through the living room ceiling. The whole last half of this movie is filled with effects like that as evil spirits play games with the family's sanity. Well, why are these spirits so disturbed? Turns out the real bad guys in Poltergeist are the same villains Steven Spielberg used in his hit movie Jaws, the local real estate developers. This time, instead of telling people it's safe to go back in the water, they've been up to other dirty tricks. I'm not even going to tell you what they did, but they shouldn't have. The whole movie is just that silly, and we never do find out if a real poltergeist was involved in the strange events in that haunted house, but Poltergeist is a good summer thriller with good special effects. It's not a great movie. I'd give it kind of a moderate recommendation.
Our first disagreement. I feel so bad about this picture that I think that I'm starting to like Rocky III a little bit more.
Really?
I felt that this film wasn't scary except for one door closing and the little childhood fears of being in the dark at night. And that's at the very beginning of the picture. Then all this mumbo-jumbo about spectral light, afterlife. I felt that I was not too far from that garbage movie we once made a Dog of the Week, Beyond and Back.
Beyond and Back.
I thought that this, Roger, you just tried to give an explanation, you know, with something in the closet. I never understood it. I haven't talked to a single person that could tell me what is going on in this
I'll meet you after the show. All I have to say is I think the movie works as entertainment. It's not great. It's okay. I'll tell you one thing, though, that I would like to make, and this is probably an important point. This movie is about a little girl who finds out that the toys in her bedroom are going to try to strangle her, that people are in her bedroom closet and going to pull her out of bed and take her away from Mommy and Daddy. This is a PG-rated film. I think for young kids it's too strong. If I had seen this movie when I was 7, I would have been afraid to go to bed until I was 12.
I think it's probably too strong for young people, but I don't think that they should even bother with it. I think there's a better film, much better films around this summer. I think that this
Including
film,
the next film we're
well, I
gonna
think
review.
this is, I really think that this is, and I think when you say it's good special effects, I'm going to accuse you of something, which is being intimidated by special effects. Anybody can do these special effects now, and this doesn't have a convincing story at all.
Just because anyone can do it doesn't mean they aren't done well. The whole point is the next movie. Why don't you get to the next one? It's got better special effects.
And a
It's more
story,
fun.
and characters. Our next film is one of the year's most eagerly awaited pictures. It's E.T., the extraterrestrial. And good news, this one is worth the wait. If you love the ending of Close Encounters of the Third Kind with that touching scene of Richard Dreyfuss and the friendly but sort of wistful outer space creature, then you should enjoy E.T., which expands the essence of that wonderful scene into the full story now of a little boy in a suburban town who befriends an ugly little outer space creature who was left behind when his spaceship took off. The little boy first spots the creature in the tool shed in his backyard, but when he tells his mother and brother and sister and their friends about what he's seen, they don't believe him. One tip, if you look very carefully at the end of this scene, you'll just be able to make out a couple of long fingers belonging to the creature.
All right. Where's the pizza?
Look! Mom, there's some out there! It's in the tool shed! It threw the ball at me! Nobody go out there.
Stop now! You guys stay right here!
You stay here, Mom. We'll check it out.
And put those knives back! Okay, Elliot. Get the flashlight. Hold it. Wait a minute. Come on. Ooh, creepy. What exactly did you see?
That's scary.
There's nothing in here.
The gate's open. Look at these. Coyotes come back again, Mom.
Okay, party's over. Everybody back inside. Now, hurry up. Quick, hurry up. Tyler, give me that knife.
Oh, great. Nice one, Elliot.
It was an accident.
A pizza. Who said you guys could order a pizza, huh?
Him.
Huh? In the house.
You geek, man.
But Mom, it was really nice for her.
Douchebag, Elliot.
Don't douchebag talk in my house.
Well, that's the only scene with the creature that we could get from the film's distributor. I really don't like how they play hide and seek with these special effects and creatures. But pictures of this creature have been published in both Time and Newsweek magazines, and here is the Newsweek photo. The film's director, Steven Spielberg, has said that he made the eyes of this creature as sort of a cross between Carl Sandburg and Ernest Hemingway. I hope he didn't pick one eye of each. But back to the movie. Once the little boy hides the creature in his bedroom and shares his secret with his brother and sister in a wonderful scene, the word begins to leak out that the kids may have the creature, which was spotted at the very beginning of the film by some local townspeople. So now the government begins spying on the kids' house, while the kids themselves are more concerned about the health of the little space creature that very much wants to go home.
Oh, Elliot. He doesn't look too good anymore.
Don't say that. We're fine.
What's all this we stuff?
You say we all the time now.
Really, Elliot, I think you might be getting kind of
Look,
sick.
he's fine, Mike.
Okay, okay.
Good kids, bad government. In a word, E.T. is charming, certain to delight young people. I think the secret of this film's success is that it supplies a quality that has been missing from most American movies of late, the emotion of love. A little boy's love for a creature is certainly not an original idea. It's not that much different from A Boy and His Dog, longtime movie staple. But this movie revives that idea, which has been trashed or ignored by most recent American movies. And so, as we cheer E.T. and get caught up in this wondrous relationship between the boy and the creature, what we're really cheering for is a return of love to the movies. Yeah, I believe that. E.T. the Extraterrestrial is very sweet and a timeless movie.
This is the kind of movie that makes movie critics talk the way you were just talking. I talk the same way. It makes your heart beat a little faster. It brings a tear to your eye. When I saw this movie, I felt the way that I'm sure people felt when they saw Wizard of Oz for the first time. I felt as if I had been introduced to a magical movie, a movie that's going to last for years and years and years and be treasured by one generation after the next. It's a great film.
Well, I just was entranced by it. I'm also there, sitting there as a critic and thinking, isn't it amazing that such a simple idea can work so well? And that's why I did my little analysis with what made this simple thing. I mean, you have to admit this is not a complicated story.
Not exactly.
You got the bad government agents, and I thought sort of ham-handedly they shoot them with key, you know, have keys on their belt and all this stuff. And even that scene there, it's not a very complicated thing, but boy, the power of that emotion carries this
And I'll
whole
tell you,
movie.
one of the reasons this movie works is because of special effects. Now, you accuse me of being intimidated by special effects, which I think is totally unfair, because in this film, what you have is a relationship between a person and special effects. It's magical. And, you know, in the last 3 or 4 years, one thing that's been missing in movies is love relationships.
Okay.
And here we have this creature that comes right out of a special effects workshop. It's human, in a sense. It's certainly sentient. We like it. We love it. The kid likes it. There's a relationship.
Yeah.
It's very moving. So if I'm intimidated by these special effects, I plead guilty.
No, no. What you are entranced with is the same thing I am, which is love. And the special effects, so what? It's love there.
Okay, I'll say it. You're right. It's love.
Well, here's Sparky the Wonder Dog reminding us it's time to get away from a little love and move on to Dog of the Week, a little hate, the week's worst movies.
It's too bad after that great E.T. review to have to talk about this. We split on Poltergeist, the thriller about a suburban family's haunted house. Gene thought it was predictable and not scary. He votes no. I like the special effects. I wasn't intimidated by them. And I like the portrait of a family under fire. I vote yes. But we both agree on one thing, despite the PG rating, that this film is too extreme for younger children. Finally, 2 big yes votes for E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Steven Spielberg's enchanting fantasy about a friendship between a little boy and a creature from outer space. This is one of the best films of recent years. A wonderful entertainment for all ages. We recommend it with a lot of enthusiasm.